Hey everyone, Ali Reza here, back with another hashtag trending. Europe is going through some tough time. Russia has cut gas supplies to the continent, and it says gas will not flow unless sanctions are lifted. This has put European people and their governments into some difficulty. Protests are getting louder across the continent against rising energy prices, and ordinary people are now getting desperate. Experts are warning of a harsh winter for EU states. And now social media users have taken to Twitter to react to the crisis. Now let's take a look at our first tweet of the day coming from Peter, Sweden. He says, many small businesses are going to have to close because of the electricity prices. Farmers are having to waste their crops because they cannot afford to store their harvests. Thousands of farmers will have to shut down to meet new climate goals. This is bad. Pavel Vargan has our next tweet. 70,000 people took to the streets of Prague in a mass protest against the EU and NATO. They demanded neutrality in the war and action on energy prices. This is the future for all governments that act against the interests of their people. Let's have a look. Radio Genova has our next video with a caption that reads, after Naples, Italian people also burned their energy bills in Terni, Assisi, Bastia, Foligno, Gubbio, Norcia, Spoleto, and many other cities. Quote, we don't pay, now that's enough. It will be a very hot autumn in Europe and beyond. Let's have a look. There are now concerns that the crisis could trigger a wave of bankruptcies across the continent. Sweden is planning to offer liquidity guarantees worth billions of dollars in a bid to prevent a financial crisis sparked by the energy crunch. Germany is also allocating funding to cushion the blow from the energy crisis which has gripped Europe. On to our next batch of comments. The next one comes from Stack Hodler. EU energy crisis is evolving rapidly. Now reports of hundreds of municipal energy companies in Germany is unable to secure energy from suppliers. Big energy suppliers are worried about the small municipal companies' ability to pay. German government will need to supply liquidity backstop. And our next tweet comes from Clay Travis. Am I crazy, or is Europe totally screwed over energy prices and in danger of societal collapse this winter? Feels like kind of a massive deal that almost no one is treating as a massive deal. Rida K. Mirza has our next tweet. Europe will freeze this winter. No amount of green energy will save them. And our next tweet comes from Unusual Wales. It reads, Europe is facing a potential Lehman Brothers event as energy companies face $1.5 trillion in margin calls per Bloomberg. European states have accused Russia of weaponizing energy, but many believe that the EU has become a victim of its own policies against Russia. Now let's take a look at a few of these tweets with this message in our final batch. Ben Norton said, European imperialists are so ridiculous. The EU imposed brutal sanctions on Russia and pledged to boycott Russian energy, but now that Russia refuses to sell Europe its energy, which is Russia's right, the EU claims it is using energy as a weapon. You said you didn't want it. That's the fact, tweeted. A bitter pill to swallow for Europe. Locals gripped with severe energy crisis, protests paying price for political games. And over here we have Hassan Mafi, who tweeted, the leaders of the EU have decided to put the US's interest before their own people and country. This decision has caused the current energy and cost of living crisis in the EU. And over here, our final tweet of the day reads, the EU Commission is saying that Russia is weaponizing energy. The US has weaponized the dollar. China has weaponized supply chains. Europe has weaponized regulations. In case you haven't noticed yet, the world has been at war since 2020. As usual, average folks are the primary victims. Thank you for watching another edition of Hashtag Trending. Until next time, take care and bye-bye.